welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this week's video, I'm going to be making over these drawers in a colourful palette using clay paint. So I purchased these drawers quite some time ago on Facebook Marketplace. This is a style of furniture I absolutely love. It's really rustic and chunky and handmade, a little bit wonky, a little bit quirky. That's the kind of stuff I love. However, they were waxed. So I've already done the prep work and removed the wax off these. I've covered it in a previous video, so I'm not going to cover it now. But if you did want to have a look at how to do that, I'll link the video top right now. And that means I can just get straight on with the painting. So the paint I'm going to be using today for this piece is clay paint. It's Dixie Belle's Terra Clay Paint. And it is a different paint to their chalk mineral paint and their silk mineral paint, which are probably the two most common paint ranges that I use from Dixie Belle. I'm going to be using a couple of colours, very bright, punchy colours, and all of the products that I do use in this video will be linked in the description below. They are affiliate links, which means if you click on them and make a purchase, I earn a small commission from each sale, but it won't cost you a penny more. So the first shade I'm going straight in with over bare wood is called Daffodil. Now this paint is very thick, but this particular colour that I'm using, this particular pot, has actually thickened up a little bit because I haven't sealed the lid properly back on from the last time that I used it. So it is slightly thicker. Now the reason this paint is different is mainly because it is not a self-levelling paint. Chalk mineral paint and silk mineral paint are, so it lends itself very well to a textured finish. So I'm using a natural bristle brush to promote that kind of textured finish. And I am literally just whacking this on. I'm using quite a loose hand and I am alternating the kind of direction that my paintbrush is going. So if you want a very, very smooth look, these are the exact opposite set of instructions that I'll be giving you. I'm just going at it like a child would, if you like, and just creating lots and lots of different texture. So this is what it looks like on the side panel, which is a flat surface, just creating lots and lots of texture with the paintbrush, just using it in lots and lots of different directions without getting too many brush strokes in it. Okay, the next step is to seal it, and now that might seem a little bit premature. However, there is a reason for that, because I want to create a layered look, and Terra Clay Paint is very easily reactivated with water, and obviously paint has water in it. So if I was to go straight over the top of this with another colour, the chances are the yellow would reactivate with the wet paint of the next colour and it would start to lift. So if you are going for a layered look like this, unless you do want the colours to mix and get that kind of effect, which is pretty cool, I've done it before and it does create a really kind of nice layered look with lots of blending and stuff, then I would advise that you seal it. So for this particular technique, I am going to seal it. I'm going to use Terra Tuff, which is a top coat that's been specifically formulated to be used with Terra, and it won't lift, it won't reactivate and pull the paint off. So I'm just going to do one coat of this and let it dry. I'm applying this with a brush because I find that's the best way to apply a top coat when you have got a lot of texture on your piece. And what you'll notice when you're applying the Terra Tuff or any top coat over the top of Terra is that it will go back to the colour that the paint was when you applied it when it was wet. So as Terra dries, it goes lighter. As you can see here, the drawer fronts are a little bit darker and more vibrant than the rest of the piece. That's just what happens when you put a top coat on. So the next thing to do, once the top coat was applied and dried, fully dried, I'm going straight over the top with my turquoise shade. Now, in my humble opinion, this is the best turquoise that I have ever seen. I absolutely love this shade. It's super pretty. And I'm just, again, applying this quite roughly with a natural bristle brush. I am covering all of the yellow, and you might think, why are you doing that? But you'll see in a second. So I'm just going straight over the top of it, quite a thick application, and I should tell you that I only did one coat of the yellow and I'm only doing one coat of the turquoise, and you can see how well this stuff covers. So if you are a fan of texture layers, paint effects, artistic kind of finishes, Terra Clay Paint is the one for you. You can have so much fun with this paint, and I have done other videos on my YouTube channel using Terra Clay Paint to get lots of different effects if you want to check those out. So the turquoise shade is completely dry. Next thing I'm going to do is going to get a damp microfiber cloth, and I'm going to start to rub away at the turquoise. And I should also add, this turquoise shade was left to dry overnight, so until Terra Clay Paint is sealed, you can still reactivate it. So I could have painted this turquoise on, left it for a week or two, and still gone back and been able to reactivate it with water. So as long as you seal it, you are absolutely fine. And that's why the yellow isn't lifting, because I've locked that in and sealed it in. And the turquoise is lifting with water because I haven't sealed that yet. So this is what's classed as wet distressing. Now you can make this as extreme or not as you like. You could literally just take a little bit off around the corners and edges just to reveal a little bit of that yellow, or you could go at it like I am and make it look extremely distressed. So I'm going to bring quite a lot of that yellow back through and just leave a very kind of faded effect with the turquoise. Again, this is super quick and easy, as was applying the colours and the sealing. It's a very, very quick and easy technique to do, yet a lot of fun, because you could build different layers up. Obviously you could do this effect with any colour out there, or any couple of colours, or any variation of colours out there, and you could have a lot of fun with this kind of look. And it is very, very effective, but super simple when you know how it's done. And the other thing is, if you end up taking too much paint off with your wet distressing, it's super easy to add it back. So all you need to do is grab a brush. I like to dry brush it so it doesn't go on too thick, so I'm just adding a little bit of the turquoise back in areas where I think I might have pulled too much off, and I'm just going in with that turquoise. As I've said, it is very highly pigmented, so you don't need a lot of this to add the colour back over the top, and just dry brush it in areas where you think you might need to add it back. The last thing I did is just run over it very lightly with a sanding sponge. That's just going to smooth everything out and make sure there's no kind of textured areas or rough areas. And once you're happy with the level of distressing, you can lock it all in with another layer or two, as I usually do, of Terra Tuff. So this is going to ensure that that paint will not budge. This is a really durable top coat, and it's similar to Gate Hide in its properties, but it applies slightly differently. I really, really like this top coat. I've used it lots, and I did 2 coats in total over the top of that, and it locked it in. And of course, no antique or distressed project would be complete without a little bit of dark wax. I'm using brown. I could have gone brown or black in this case, but I think because I'm using quite pale colours, I just opted for brown here, so that I'm going to get a more kind of warmth antique look as opposed to that grungy look that black gives. So again, I only need a little bit of this product, and because I put that top coat down, that's going to act as my barrier between the wax and the paint, so it's not going to grip onto the paint too much. I would not advise putting wax straight over the top of Terra Clay Paint, because you get very little control, or you're not able to pull it off if you put too much on. But that clear coat, that top coat, that Terra Tuff that I used, that's going to act as your barrier. And then you can go in with your brown wax. A little bit of this goes a long way. As you can see, I've only used a very tiny amount on the end of my brush, and you can just see the difference here between the right hand side where I've used no wax and the left where I have. And of course, always make sure you buff your excess wax off. That means it's not going to stay sticky and tacky, and it's going to basically dry down as it should. If you leave wax unbuffed, it doesn't dry down, it just stays sticky and tacky on the surface. So here's a few close-ups of the finished look with all that texture, and you can see all the brown wax sitting in all the crevices, and here is the final piece. As always, thank you very much for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure, if you're not already, that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.